Welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create a random color generator. As you can see from the final version of the project, we have different colors in the website with different color code. And if you refresh the page, each time we get different colors with different color codes. We are going to create these color codes using JavaScript, and we are going to create them randomly each time for 30 color container. The website also is responsive. If we decrease the size of the website, we can see in the bigger screen, we have 4 columns, and then we have 3, 2, and 1 columns when we are decreasing the size of the screen. So see you in the next section for the HTML part of our project. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code, and here we close the Get Started tab. In the File menu, we click on the Open folder. I would like to create the project as usual in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop, and here we click on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the folder Random Color Generator, which is the name of our project. We press enter and we choose the folder that we have created, and we click on the select folder. Here we close the Get Started tab again, and here on the left side in the Explorer section, we need to create an HTML file. We just need to right click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.html and we press enter. Now on the right side, we have our index.html file, which is completely empty, but we can use an exclamation mark to create an HTML5 boilerplate. So we just need to write an exclamation mark and we click on the first auto suggestion. As you can see, now we have our HTML5 boilerplate, which includes doc type, which tells the browser which version of HTML the page is written in. And in our case, which we are using HTML5, we just need to have HTML here. Then we have the HTML tag, which is the top level element in the HTML file, which includes the head and the body tags. The lang attribute inside the opening HTML tag sets the language of the page. And as we are writing our project in English, we set the language to be English by just writing EN. Then we have the head tag, which includes 3 metadata tags and also 1 title tag. The charset attribute inside the first metadata tag defines the HTML character encoding, and UTF-8 is recommended by HTML5 for web developers because it nearly contains all the characters or symbols. So the users can easily see our project and they won't have any problem seeing the characters and symbols of the page. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. The viewport meta tag tells the browser on how to resize the page based on the devices screen's width. So this attribute, the content attribute, sets the width of the page to the device's screen's width. For example, the mobile screen will be smaller than the computer screen, the width of the mobile screen. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the world wrap to see the next part, which is setting the initial zoom level of the page. And the default value is 100%. Then we have the title tag, which sets the title of the page. We can see the browser here inside the Visual Studio Code using the Live Preview extension. We just need to right click here and we click on Live Preview, Show Preview. Now we can see the browser on the right side, which is completely empty, but with the title document. Let's close the Explorer section to have more space on the right side. And let's change the title of our website to the name of our website, which is Random Color Generator. We can see the random color generator inside the tab of the browser. Then we start our HTML coding inside the body tag, first we add a header by using a h1 tag, and this would be the name of our project. We just write random color generator. We can see here. Then we have a div with a class of container to include all the colors that we're going to create later using JavaScript. And inside this container, we have the color container that is just a box that has a color and the title in the middle. So we have a div with a class of color container. And inside this div, we have just a color code. We just add a random color code. It should be 6 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we just copy this few times. For example, 6 times, because we're going to use this data to in the next video. We're going to style the project using this information and divs and the numbers. And later, using JavaScript, we're going to create these divs randomly with different color codes and different background colors and also the title. But we just hard-coded a few numbers and a few divs to be able to style our project in the next section. That was it for the HTML part of our project. In the next section, we're going to start styling our project using CSS. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. In this section, we are going to start styling our project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. So we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E, and on the left side, in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file style.css. Before using CSS in our project, we need to add a link to the CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html, and just after the title tag, we add a link tag. We just write link and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now we have a link tag with the relationship between the HTML code and the external style sheet, which is style.css. The href attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files, I mean the index.html and style.css, are located at the same directory, we just need to have style.css for the URL. Now we can use CSS in our project. We save this HTML file using Ctrl-S, and we close this Explorer section by dragging this line to the left to have more space on the right side. And we go to style.css and we start with the body section. We just write body, we open a set of curly braces. First, we remove the default margin of the body section. We just write margin 0, and we change the font family to be, for example, cursive. And yeah, that's it for the body section. And let's style the H1, bring it to the center. We just say H1, and we use text align center to bring it to the center. Then we need to style this container, the main container that covers all the divs with the class of color container. So here we target the container class using .container, and we change the display to flex to bring them next to each other. But we want them to go to the next line when we decrease the size. So we change the flex wrap to wrap instead of no wrap. So each time the new container goes to the next line when we have a smaller screen. Then we use justify content center to bring the items to the center horizontally. After the container, we start styling the color container itself. Let's change the background color to orange to see it better. Later, we're going to create this background color randomly using JavaScript, but just for now, we keep it to be for orange so we can style it better. We set the width to be 300 pixels and we set the height to be 150 pixels. We change the color of these texts to white, and let's change the display to flex to bring this one to the center. And before that, let's add some margin so we can see the boxes separately. So we just say margin 5 pixels. So now we see the boxes in a different place because we use we use flex wrap. When we increase the size, we have 2, and depends on the size, we have different number of boxes in one row and different columns number. So let's change the display to flex to bring this text to the center horizontally and vertically using justify content center and align item center. Justify content center brings them to the center horizontally, and align item center bring them to the center vertically. And let's change the font size and increase the size of the text to be 25 pixels. And as we have a very light colors in the background using the generator, maybe we cannot see this text later. So let's add some text shadow to this text to have some shadow effects so we can see them clearly in the lighter colors as well. So we use the text shadow property, and the first value in the text shadow property is the position of the horizontal shadow. We set it to be 2 pixels. Then we have the position of the vertical shadow. We set it to be 2 pixels as well, and 4 pixels for the blur radius. And we want the shadow to be black with some transparency. So we use RGBA function to set the color. And we set 0 for red, green, and blue, which gives us the black color. And we use 0.5 for 50% transparency. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the codes clearly. And let's add some border to each box. We just say border. We want it to be solid with black color and also with 2 pixels width. And let's change the border radius to be, for example, 10 pixels. I think this is fine. Yeah, in the next section, we are going to use JavaScript to create these color codes randomly. And also, depending on these color codes, we change the background color of these boxes. So see in the next section for the JavaScript part of our project. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the CSS part of our project. We have styled our project, and in this section, we are going to start adding functionality to our project using JavaScript. We're going to create and generate these color codes randomly using JavaScript. First, we need to create a JavaScript files. Okay, here we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E. And on the left side in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.js and we press enter. This as the same as the solid CSS, before using JavaScript in our project, we must add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html, and here at the end of the body tag, we add a script tag. We just write sc and we click on the second auto suggestion, the one with the src. And as both files, the index.html and index.js are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js for the URL and inside the src attribute, which defines the destination of the link. Let's close this Explorer section again by dragging this line to the left so we have more space on the right side, and we go to index.js to start coding. First, I would like to generate these boxes using a for loop, and we add we create this div with a class of container, color container and add it to this container. So first we bring this container and return it using query selector. So we create a const and we call it container element and we equal it to document because we want to create it inside the DOM. And we use query selector method, and because the div has the class of container, we just need to add dot container as the selector inside the parentheses and the double quotes. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see the code clearly. And then we add a for loop. We just write for, and here we click on the second auto suggestion with the one with the for loop. So it gives us a template, and we have an index which starts from 0 to the array lengths. We want to create 30, for example, boxes and containers. So we just write 30, and we want to increase the number of index each time 1. And here we want to create a div. In order to create an element, we can use the create element method. So we just write here, we want to create a color container element, and we can use the document.create element method, and the element we want to create is div. And after creating it, we want to add the class of color container. In order to add a class to the element, we can use the class list property and add method. So here we have the color container element. We can use the class list property, and we use add method to add the class, and the class we want to add is color container. And after that, we need to append this new element inside this container. So we just write container element dot append child, and the child we want to append is this color container element. Color container element. As soon as we add it, you can see that we have more elements here. Let's remove this hard-coded one that we have created before. So from here to here, we delete them all. So all the boxes you see is created here, which should be 30 boxes. Let's open this project inside the Google Chrome by using the open in browser. And you can see now we have 30 boxes and they are responsive. In a bigger screen, we have 4 boxes in 4 columns. Then we have 3, 2, and 1. So now we go back to the Visual Studio Code. Now we want to add we want to create this color codes using creating a function. First, we create the function. We create a function. We call it random color. The char set that we have for creating the color palette, it has all the numbers from 0 to 9. So we write it here, and also it has alphabets from A to F. So we just have to write A, B, C, D, E, F. So we want to create the random color codes depending on these char characters. All right. And the color length, the color code length is, so we just write color code length is equal to 6. Then we start the variable color, or we can use let for variable. We just say color. First we start from empty, and we use a for loop again, but this time the for loop will be the length will be the color code length. So we just write color code length. So we're going to loop through the color code length. So we're going to create each character one by one randomly and add it to this color variable. So first we create the random number. So we want to, this is like a 10, like a 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We have 16 characters. So we want to create a number between 0 to 15. So in order to create it, we just create the random number. We just create a constant. We call it random number, and we use the math.random method because we want it to be between 0 and 15. So we just can say multiply this one to this chars, but the length of this char. So we just say chars.length. So now we are creating the random number, but this is the number. Let's log it first so we see what we are doing. And let's call this function as well. So we just say random color. We open the console. As you can see, we are creating 6 random numbers, but as you can see, it's not a rounded one, so we can use the floor method, just a math.floor, to create these numbers like this. Now we have 0, 8, 0, 14, 4, 13. So this one means 0 means the first number is 0, 8 is 1, 8 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 will be the number for the 8. And then we have 0, which is 0, 14. So we want to add these random characters together to create this color code. So let's change this to color code. And here, let's close this console log. So we want to add this new number to this color. So first the color is empty, and then we want to add the new random characters, which is a chars.substring. So we want to get the string inside it, but which one we want to get? The one that has the index of the random number and also the random number plus 1. What does this mean? If the random number is, for example, 2, so we have it here, and then until the 3, so it means from 2 to 3 we get the number 2. Let's log this the color code. We are getting the color code. So let's console log the color code and see it inside the console. As you can see, the colors code first starts from empty, and then it became B, B3, B3, 2, and each time one new character added to this one. And if we check that what is the random number, so let's clean the console log and refresh the page. You can see first we get the character 11, which is the letter B. Then we get the 14, which is the letter E. Then we get 0, which is 0. And then we have 11, which is the character B. 6 is 6, and 14 is E. So each time we refresh the page, we get the new random color. And also, we want to create 30 of these random numbers and put it inside these boxes that we have created. So instead of random calling it here, we create another function which we really generate the colors. And this function is going to loop through all these 30 boxes that we have created. So we just say color container element. Actually, we don't have these 30 still now, so we can get all of them. We just create a constant and we say all the color containers. We add a S here, so we are getting all of them. We use document.query selector all to get all the containers with this class. So we just copy this and put it here. And let's delete this one first, and we console log this. We can see that we get a node with 30 elements, which all the divs with the class of color container. Now we can loop through all of them using for each method, which actually execute a function once for each element of this array. So we just say color element container. We add the S to get all of them, and then we just say for each, and we get each of them, first we create a function, we trigger this function, and we can get each element of this array here inside this parenthesis. We just call this, we just say color container element without s and put it here. So we are getting each element with this name, and then we create a random color first by using this function. So we create a constant, we call it random, or we just call it new color code, and we get it from this function random color. So when we actually we are not returning anything, so we have to, instead of console logging, we return the color code. So we just say return color code. So here, if we console log the new color code, we should get 30. First, we should call this generate colors function. When we do it again, color codes is not defined in the line 27. Yeah, color code instead of color. Yeah, as you can see, we are returning each of them. This return should be outside this loop. So we are returning the last color code. So if we now refresh the page, we should get 30 color codes like this, and each time should be different. We clear the console, we refresh the page, and each time we get a new color code. All right, now we are creating the color code here, and we want to first we change the background color of these elements, these boxes, using the style method. We just say color container element dot style dot background color. As you can see, the JavaScript syntax, and this one should be style, I don't know. The JavaScript syntax for CSS is a little bit different from the CSS itself. The background color here has a dash, but inside the JavaScript, it's in camel case mode. So we don't have any dash, they're connected, and the second word is capitalized. So the background color should be this color, new color code, but the new color actually starts from with the hashtag. So we just add a hashtag at the beginning, and we add this new color code. All right. So now we can see different colors in each box. Each time we refresh the page, we see different background color for any of the boxes. And also we want to get the text inside. So here we just say color container element dot inner text. With this method, we can change the text inside an element. So we add a hashtag again plus new color code. Now we are getting the codes inside as well. And each time we get a different one. Let's check it inside the browser as well. As you can see, each time we refresh, we get the new colors and new color codes. All right, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. See you in the next project.